I'm Wendy Capewell, an experienced counsellor and psychotherapist. I work with so many people who feel that they're the only ones struggling with the issues that they share with me. Possibly, like many of you, they feel so alone. And so the aim of this podcast is to talk to guests who have their own stories to share, their experience of the struggles that they've been through, or maybe they're continuing to live with, offering their insights as well as their inspiring journey. So let me introduce my guest.
Well, I don't know about you, but I think money and talking about money, thinking about money can create all kinds of issues, not just for ourselves, but in our relationships. Money, what is it? And why do we have different relationships with money? Well, and we can feel really stressed about it too, can't we? But Eileen Joy, my guest today, who is the money coach for moms, is going to talk more about it and how we can have a good relationship with money. So, Eileen, please tell the audience more about you.
Great. Thank you, Wendy. First of all, I'm so grateful that you asked me to come on and talk about the relationship with money because it really does cause so much stress. And so how I came to be the money coach for moms, because I never thought in a million years that I would ever be a money coach. It all happened because of my divorce. And at the end of my divorce, I was left with $347 to my name. My divorce cost so much that I had to sell my house to pay for my divorce. I would have gotten tens of thousands of dollars from the sale of my home, but I was left with $347.
Wow.
And I had to get a new job because I was working with my sister-in-law at the time, and life at work was not very happy, and I needed to leave. I had a great job, and I had to find another great job, which I did, thankfully. And then at the same time, my son is 10, at the time he was 5, we got into a terrible car accident. Excuse me. We got into a terrible car accident that totaled my car, and we both ended up in the hospital. And so this was all happening at the same time. So I was left with $347. I had to find a new job. I had to find a new house, and I had to find a new car. And this was all happening at the tail end of a bankruptcy. And
Wow.
so I was now a divorced single mother with a 5-year-old saying, now what? And I went through that period of, I don't know what to do. 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 And then I figured it out. I had my aha moment. And, everyone has their aha moment that it's like, ding, okay, I need to do something. I need to figure this out. I need to change my life in some way. And at this point, it was money for me. And so I was able to find a house. I'm still in the same house I'm renting. I love this house. My house comes with a handyman. So bonus when you rent, bonus. So I don't have to worry about anything. My landlord is wonderful. The handyman is wonderful. So that took a lot of stress off of that. I found another great job. I got a car, all the things. And then when I got my car, I had gotten a 6-year car loan because it was the longest loan I could get. And I had to stretch those payments out and make the payment as small as possible, right? But then when I was able to figure out my money, it was like overnight. It was like, that mindset shift, right? And I learned everything that I needed to learn. I was able to pay off my car in 3 years, that 6-year car loan. I paid it off. And yes, I now have a fully funded emergency fund, completely debt-free. I'm on track to retire early. I set my son up for life. He's now 10 years old. He will be a multimillionaire by the time he's my age. He has a wonderful relationship with money because I've empowered him with a financial education. So he doesn't have those sticky, icky feelings about money that most do, that we grow up with. And then they're just stuck in our subconscious, because when we're ages 0 to 7, that's when we're programmed.
Yeah.
Everything comes into our world from the time from 0 to 7 and then some. But from 0 to 7 is when we're programmed. That's when our money story begins. And so we learn money from our parents and from our environment and from everyone around us.
Yep.
So what happens is with money, that's how our relationship with money begins when we're little. And we take on the stories of our parents, plus the generational patterns of money. So it goes backwards. So our parents learn about money from their parents. Their parents learn about money from their parents, and so on and so on and so on. So it becomes a generational story. And these generational patterns of how people act around money, feel about money, spend their money, or possibly save money, the way that they just work with their money. And then that becomes ingrained in you, and you just operate that way until
Okay,
you have
so
your aha moment.
yeah. Okay. I'm going to ask you that. I get all of that because, of course, it is about we learn from our parents or our caregivers. But where does the kind of environment come into? Because, we're at the moment in the UK, we have got an energy crisis. We've got rising costs, and now the pound apparently has dropped against the dollar, and we're heading for a recession. So, I mean, that has to play into the whole situation, surely. Tell us more about that.
Yes, it sure does. Your environment is everything around you, even the things that you're not even thinking about. And a quick little example, just that I had with my son. We always talk about money. I've normalized money so much in our home that we're always talking about it. It's like, how's the weather? How's your money? It's so normal. So we were one day in the store talking about money, and out of nowhere, he said something to me that shocked me. He said, "Mommy, people who are rich are greedy and mean, right?" And I looked at him and I said, "Those words have never crossed my lips. Where did you hear that?" And he told me it was on a cartoon.
Okay.
So you see, it's everywhere. It's
Yeah.
everywhere. It's on TV, it's on the news, it's on the radio, it's on your phone. You'll just be scrolling on your social media, and there's just all of these messages popping in at you about money and everything else, about your self-worth and all of these things. And everyone's comparing ourselves against one another. And that's what in the States, I don't know if you call it the same thing there, but here it's called keeping up with the Joneses. I don't know if you've ever heard that term.
Yeah, we
right?
have the same.
Okay. So we're all keeping up with the Joneses, and that is part of our money story.
Yeah.
Because we're all comparing. We have comparisonitis, right? And that's what
And
happens.
I always talk about comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes, I have that hanging on my wall.
Brilliant.
It is so true.
Yeah. But that is because we've been through so many kind of recessions, decades of it. We know going back, you had it in the 20s, didn't you? There was a real depression in your country. And we, peaks and troughs always. I've seen it in my lifetime. And beyond. I haven't seen it physically, but but it is the message that we're given, as you say, because we're getting this, it's all going to be gloomy, it's going to be so bad, it's going to be so difficult. And I think does that not set us up to kind of have that fear instead of saying, okay, that leaves us feeling the victim, that we have no power, that, it's all going to be bad, instead of saying, okay, what can we do? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's one thing that you said. We give our power to money. And everyone that I speak with, and just from what I see in the world, just from being so mindful about it now, is that people put money on a pedestal. Like it's so far out of reach and not for them. I mean, it's for everyone else. And people have become afraid of it because for the most part, they don't teach money in school.
No.
And we don't learn about it. The only time you ever hear about money is during math, when you're in elementary school, when they're talking about adding 25 cents plus 10 cents, or this dollar plus that, or the pound, and all the different things. And that's really the only time you ever hear of it, unless you specifically take a class about it when you get older on purpose. but they don't offer it. So no one knows how to do anything with money unless they're taught. And so we're just learning about it from anywhere, and we're just following the masses. And right now, we live in a spending culture. It's just spend, 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 spend. And everyone is now in this crippling debt. And the banks aren't going to help you get out of it because that's how they make their money. They charge this ridiculous amount of interest that they love to receive every month that you're just ignoring. You get your bill and you're like, oh, okay, whatever, it's this, I'll pay the minimum or a little bit over that. And you don't even look at the bill. You just see the number and how much is due and you make a payment, and you're not really paying attention to what you're actually spending. And it's like you have your head in the sand like an ostrich, you're just ignoring it.
I
And
think
this
a
is
lot of
where
people
the
are like
problem
that.
is.
You're right. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I would totally agree with you. Whereas I have a very, very different view. I will spend the credit card company's money, and I'm going to pay the whole lot off at the end of the month, because I'm not, why? No. If they're going to have my money, then I'm going to use it. I mean, interest rates, I'm not getting a lot of interest on my savings because interest rates are so low, but I'm not giving my money away.
Yeah, and most people are. In this country, 40% of people do not even have an extra $400 for an emergency.
No.
It is awful. And everyone is spending money they don't have. So what most people think is you get your paycheck, you pay your bills, and then you have this little bit left over at the end of your paycheck. And you hope that you have enough left over for groceries, gas for your car, and maybe a fun night out. And then there's more month left at the end of the money. So then you start using your credit cards to finish out the month. And that's how people are slowly creeping into debt. And it's so sad. And then that's just how you're living. It's just a pattern and you're used to it and you don't pay attention to it. And it's just a cycle. And that's why people are living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. Most people do not pay their bill in full every month. And that was something that I had to learn too. And now that I do that, the credit card companies call us deadbeats because they don't make money off of us.
They're not making any money and we're sitting back and laughing.
Yeah. Right. And I'm collecting all the travel points. I get to travel for free and do all the things with all of these, get cash back and all the different cards. And once you are actually considered a deadbeat, the world of credit opens up to you with all of these amazing benefits and perks where you can get all of these things. But if you are not paying your bill in full every month and your credit score is extremely low, you're not going to be offered these benefits. And you're just wasting it, which is money you could be saving for your future. Because also we are responsible for saving for our future. In years past, like my parents specifically, they both had pensions from their jobs. So when they left their jobs, they were still getting money every single month from their company that they worked for 30 plus years. And also they still have their health benefits. In our country, we have to pay for them. And a lot of countries you don't, which is amazing. And so that's one thing in this country we need to be concerned about when we're younger, because we are now responsible for our futures, and our parents didn't have to worry about that so much. And so they didn't really teach us that because they didn't have that in their wheelhouse.
No, you're quite right about that. I do remember learning something in school about pensions, but it was so vague and it just wasn't really very, it was glossed over quite a lot instead of saying, okay, think about inflation. Yeah, you could have a pension, you could buy a pension for, let's say, for example, £1 million, $1 million. That's what you're going to get. And you go, wow, that's a lot of money. But decades on, inflation rises, money decreases, and that $1 million is going to be
not worth so much.
No, not worth very much at all. And I think that's what that education is the thing, isn't it?
Yes.
So much. It's knowing what money is about and having those conversations. People don't talk about money. They don't talk about money in their jobs. You don't tell anyone what your salary is, what your income is. There is a real closed shop about money. Do you find that too?
Yes. Money is one of those taboo subjects, like sex and politics, religion, all of these subjects that cause so much. Some cause hate, right? And war. And then some are just hush hush. Like usually sex and money are the ones that are hush hush. Like it's not polite to talk about it, you know? And sex and money are two of the most amazing subjects to talk about, you know? I mean, they both bring fun and joy and ecstasy and love. And, you know, why don't we talk about these things? Right. And everyone's like, shh, don't ask them how much money they make. It's not polite. And it's so funny because my son and I talk about money so much that he thinks it's weird that people don't talk about it. And I have to tell him that you have to dial it back a little bit around certain people because they'll think that you're weird, you know, and that we need to help other people realize that it should be normal to talk about it. And that has become my mission of talking about it as much as I possibly can so that we stop those generational patterns now. We need to stop it and change it. Right. And that also changes our relationship around it and the way of thinking about it. And so I challenge people all the time to think differently about it and to talk about it and let it out and discuss what your issues are instead of stuffing it down, you know, because we stuff our emotions and money is part of that. Money is a very emotional subject, especially if you're not doing well.
Yeah, there's a real kind of shame about not having enough money, isn't there? I agree with you.
Shame, embarrassment, guilt, anxiety, all of these feelings come up.
So how do you help your clients, you know, these moms? How do you, what is it? Is it mindset? Is it budgeting? What is it? How do you help people?
I help them with everything. So we work on the mindset piece all throughout the whole time we're working together, because it doesn't happen overnight. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to feel differently about my money now. And then boom, it's done. You know, it's something that you need to consistently work on. And then as your money situation changes, your mindset changes too. As we up level and we hit those up level moments, the fears come back, right? A lot of people make money decisions out of fear because they're so afraid of money. And so it's really becoming aware of what your money situation is. It all starts with awareness. And that's really where I begin. I begin with your money story, obviously, of what is your money story? How did you learn about money? What do you think about money? How do you feel about money? Where are you? Because everyone's different, right? Personal finance is personal. Everyone's situation is completely different. We all make a different amount of money. We all have a different lifestyle, a different way of living. Our bills are different. Everything is different. And same thing with our mindset and how we feel about money. So we start there and then we become aware. And I show people how much it costs to be them. Because you need to know how much it costs to be you. Because what a lot of people are doing was what I said earlier is that you get paid, you spend it all, and then you spend money you don't have.
Yeah.
So really, how much does it cost to be you without using your credit cards? How much does it cost to be you? Become aware of what is coming in and what is going out, and where's your money going? What are you spending your money on? Is it on stuff you really don't need, or is it on things you really value? And so then I teach values-based spending is shifting your spending to the things that you really care about and creating those goals. And really, what do you want? What do you want from your life? And let's take your money to help you get that. And then from there, we tell your money what to do. And I teach you, that's budgeting. I don't use the word budget because that's a trigger word and everyone hates, it's like dieting. Budgeting and dieting are the same feeling you get, right? You feel restricted. It makes you feel restricted. Whenever someone hears that word budget, it's the same thing as a diet. You feel like, oh, I can't eat. Oh, I can't spend my money. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's strange that I don't, you know, I've always budgeted ever since I started work.
Yeah.
At the age of 16,
That's
well,
good,
I probably did
most
it
people
before.
don't.
I was fortunate because I worked in a bank and it was therefore, you know, you're around money, you see what's going on. So it was very much in my world. But yeah, I want to know where the money's going, when I'm spending it on, what I don't want to spend it on. Like I said, I'm not going to get overdrawn in my bank account any more than I'm going to give the credit card company money. No.
Yeah,
And then
because then all those fees come in. You get the overdraft
yeah,
fees and then the late fees and the that fee and the this fee and the
and that's it.
interest and it's
And
oh,
I always know where my money is. It's funny because a lot of people, oh, I don't know what my credit card's going to be. I know
and you
what my
should
credit card is.
know. Yes.
Yeah, I know almost
Mhm,
daily what it is because I
mhm.
keep an eye on it. Am I going
Yes.
out of budget? Am I overspending? And I think if we have a business, it's even more so because you're going to have things coming in that you're possibly not thinking about. So again, I
Mhm.
want to know what I'm likely to expect. When is that bill going to come in?
Exactly.
So
Yes.
that I can actually put it aside. I know if I know what my annual spend is,
Mhm.
business and personal, as much as
Yes.
possible. And then I divide it by 12. And then I know that that is the amount I need to more than survive. But that's what I need.
Yes,
So, yeah,
exactly.
but it
Exactly. And
doesn't
that's
take
what
much
we
to
do.
do it, really. Yeah.
Mm-mm. No, it really doesn't. And because people are so afraid of it, they're just afraid to look at it. They're
Mm.
so afraid to look at it. And the women that come to me with embarrassment and shame
Oh, gosh.
because they are like, even when I give them and like a homework, homework, quote unquote homework, say, okay, in between the time that we're together, this is what I want you to do. I want to challenge you to go look at your, and then sometimes they send me Voxer messages. I'm so afraid I can't open my bank. It's so interesting because of the mindset. So that's why the mindset piece, along with working on the actual numbers, is so key because of the fear. And then once we get through that fear, we break through the fear because of the awareness. Once they're able to become aware, so much happens. I have helped women. It's so incredible to me. It's so mind blowing to me that that I get to do this every day. The women that I've helped them stop gambling, drinking, so many things. It's just amazing. Overspending and getting out of soul crushing debt. I it's amazing. I work with women that have doctorates in finance that don't know how to budget their money. Doctorates
Really?
in finance. They don't teach them how to manage their own money. It's mind-blowing.
It is. And
Amazing.
I think well, if you can take that fear away, you're empowering women because
Exactly.
it's very empowering to know. In my
Yes.
that's my view that if it's when I don't know what
Mhm.
money I've got, like you, I went through a divorce and it took a big chunk of my money and where am I going to live? How am I going to survive? That unknown of having another letter from the solicitor, you know, having another horrible kind of bill or something, that was scary for me. When I know where my money is and how much I need to earn and how much I've got to spend and so on, I'm okay with that. It was when I didn't know. So I can
Mhm.
imagine the women that you're working with, that will be really fearing, really scary and
Yeah.
frightening.
Yeah. I'm working with it's so interesting. She's a doctor and she has no clue. Well, when she came to me, she had no clue how to manage her money. She wasn't even investing, nothing. And she went from a savings account of 0 to within 3 months, just with shifting some of her spending, she was able to save over $20,000
Wow.
just from being aware and me having my eyes on her money and giving her some suggestions as to how to restructure things. It was easy. It's amazing. Just the
Yeah.
awareness piece. That's the
Yeah.
one little itty bitty piece of the whole puzzle is so
Yeah.
huge. It's just huge. It's just look at it. Just look at it. you
Yeah.
know, and just seeing what's coming in, what's going out, where's most of your money going. And then I've had people just say, oh my, I can't believe how much money I'm spending on cigarettes, and then they end up quitting and things like that. And just from the awareness piece, before we even dive in, really, and it's just amazing. Just stop ignoring your money. Just stop ignoring it.
Yeah. And I can hear that you feel so excited about it. You've got a real passion for what you're doing. And I think
I
that
do.
is lovely that, yeah, that you've learned how to do it and now you're passing on that knowledge to others.
Yeah,
I think
it's so
that's great.
fun. I love it so much. I love it. And it's so cool because I get to help the moms and then show them how to teach the kids,
Yeah.
right? Because they're not learning about money in school and their money stories have already been shaped, right?
Yeah.
So I teach the moms, okay, this is your money story. What have you taught your kids? Now
Mm.
we need to undo the doing, right? And shape them now and teach them now so that they'll be set for life as well. And the younger they are, obviously, the more set for life they'll be.
Yeah. Fascinating conversation. Love it. And I love your energy. What is one tip that someone could just put into action right this minute? What do you think would be really
I
help?
already said it. I already said it.
I know
Go
you have.
look at your money. Go look at it. Just go look at it. Open up your bank account. What's coming in? What's going out? Open up all your credit card statements. Look at the statement, not just what you owe. Look at it line by line. How much interest are you paying? Add up the last 12 months of interest that you paid and look and see how much money you could have saved just on
Wow. Yeah.
interest alone. And how many times have you paid for that pair of shoes? Right? Think about that. You charge something and then you're maxing your cards out or you're, whatever, and you're paying all this interest. How many times have you paid for those shoes that you got a deal on because they were on sale? Well, that sale's not such a sale now, is it? Right?
Now
Just look
that is
at it.
really, really a good one to think about, isn't it?
Yeah.
You bought that bargain, but then you're maxing out your credit card and you're paying interest. So what? It's not a bargain, is it?
No, not anymore. You've paid more than the sale price and then some. You've paid the manufacturer's suggested retail price times 7. It's amazing how people don't think about that, especially now when the holidays are coming up, when everyone's looking for those deals, right? And we're constantly being bombarded with ads, right? On our phones, especially. And our phones, they know what we're thinking. We
Yeah.
don't even have to speak it anymore. They know what we're thinking, right? We open up our phone and we were thinking about, something we wanted to purchase. Oh, there it is. Oh, look, I can buy it right now while I'm on Facebook scrolling, and oh, look, it's 50% off. So you buy it while you're scrolling and you don't even realize what you just did. And then now you put it on your credit card that you're going to pay for it 7 times now. So just be aware. Just be aware.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
One easy way that people can get in touch with you, Eileen. I will put all your details in the show notes, but an easy way.
The easiest way is my website. You can get to me on all my socials, my podcast, everything is all on my website. It's momswhomoney.com.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for today. I've so enjoyed it.
Thank you, Wendy. This was awesome.
I hope you found this episode interesting as well as helpful. Do get in touch if you would like to learn more about working with me. My email address is info@wendycapewell.co.uk. Take good care of yourself. Until next time.